Hello, fellow film fans. The Birch just came out, the series on Facebook Watch. Recommend you guys all check it out. You can catch me as a background artist in episode 3, playing the Man Under the Tarp. It's real exciting. It's one of the first productions you can really see me clearly as a background artist. I'm also in episode 1, but kind of as a shadow. But that was all shot in one day. It was all one character. So I figured what we do today is give you kind of a unique perspective of a background artist, what you don't typically get, on my character, on what it's like to be a background artist, and a little bit to add to the lore. I guess technically speaking, this wouldn't be canon, so to speak, because all this information I didn't pull from a script. You know, background artists, we tend not to get scripts, kind of the way it goes. It's not really expected of us. So when you're sitting there hanging out underneath the tarp or wherever you're hanging out, you have some time to think and you can engage in some of that craft of acting, build a bit of a backstory about whatever character you're playing, whatever location you're in, all that good stuff. So we'll start with the setting to start off with, because, you know, that was a real empty lot in Portland, one of Portland's finest, up in North Portland, in that kind of industrial part of town. It's a pretty realistic depiction of what North Portland's like. You got a lot of warehouses, a lot of empty lots, a lot of forests that people could run into, maybe misbehave, all that kind of stuff. I used to live up there. I was pretty happy that they kept that flavor going, even if it wasn't maybe the most flattering depiction of North Portland. I think it was pretty realistic. And there are some lots where, you know, you see people kind of hanging out. We were all billed originally as suspicious characters, and then I kind of built the character from there. Once I got there, they were like, oh, this is going to be your spot. So I turned that into Man Under the Tarp. That's his spot. Got the tarp. Let you guys know that was a real little tent we had. Nothing too fancy, just some spikes, a tarp. I sat on cardboard. I really was dirty. We didn't make any of that stuff up. It's pretty realistic. All natural lighting for the most part. We had some reflectors, but, you know, it was pretty much what it would look like if you were hanging out in Portland. And it was daytime, but kind of getting to that sketchy hour, shall we say. So to my character himself, I like to imagine him as kind of a lifelong vagabond, something of a ne'er-do-well, you know, engaging in some not-so-savory activities, but that was kind of his choice. He was cool with it. I liked, in post-production, they added music for episode 3. We were hanging out. It was quiet, but it's actually kind of more cool that there was metal going. I like to imagine that he chose this spot to set up his tent, set up his tarp, because he likes the music. It was relatively safe. He knew the people around, and it was a pretty good part of Portland if you're going to be sort of an urban camper, shall we say. And that was kind of his life. He just hung out underneath there, taking it easy, listening to metal music. So to the scene itself, you know, we weren't too fazed by any of that, any of the chasing or anything. That was part of kind of the artistry of it. You know, you have that movement going on over here. We didn't want to pull any focus or anything like that. I will let you know my own personal little scene, what happened, because you can kind of see it's not entirely clear, but that's, you know, how it goes sometimes with background artists. We're not trying to pull focus. But anyhow, someone comes up, another one of the vagabonds comes up, and we exchange, we do some bartering. Because in this area, it seems like it's a non-moneyed system, shall we say. Sort of a cashless society where everything's bartered for. Nobody really needs anything. Everybody's kind of just doing their own thing. So I get it, my backpack, which was behind me the whole time. I take out some cloths, which I imagine he found, just kind of out and about. They were dirty, they were beat up. He didn't know how to sew or anything, so he was like, oh, I can sell these for some pills. And I exchanged with one of the other vagabonds a pill bottle for some cloth. I thought it was a fair deal, so he hands it to me. I'll let you know that in real life, that prop was an ibuprofen bottle, sort of a generic painkiller that the prop master had scratched off most of the label of. I had decided I was going to palm it, so you can see that it was only just like a white cylinder. I didn't want it to be too explicit what it was. Not that this was a production, you couldn't have illicit materials, but like, if you saw it was ibuprofen, that'd be bad. It came out as a white cylinder. I was pretty happy about that. So anyhow, he's sitting there, he's hanging out, he's trying to get it open. In real life, that was a really difficult child lock on there. I think it was broken. Maybe why it had been thrown out. I'd like to imagine the other guy had found that in the trash and was trying to sell it. He didn't know what was in it. I didn't know what was in it. So I was hanging out there, trying to unscrew it, trying to figure out what the pills were. Eventually, Creepy E comes along, and there's that little confrontation. But none of us are too bothered by it, because that kind of thing happens all the time. So even when there's a chase, he just kind of hangs out underneath the tarp. And going on with the series, I don't imagine he gets pulled into too much of the other drama with the Birch or anything. Maybe not until season 2. Who knows? We can add to that lore. But here you go, folks. That is my character, Man Under the Tarp. A little behind-the-scenes action. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep on watching the background of films. You'll find some good stuff in there.